Hello True Believer, today we're going to keep going with tutorial number 2 part 4. So we're going to look at is making and manipulating grouped objects. So the first thing is we're going to make a little love heart here. So we're going to put a box down. And on that box we're going to put 2 cylinders. So we're going to put a cylinder at this corner on that half. And then we're going to put another cylinder on the other half. So then that's made pretty much. Now you'll notice that it's made a little bit of a fuzzy thing there because it's overlapping and it's just getting a little bit confused mathematically. So what we're going to look now is how to make more complex shapes. So see how we've made a primitive shape, a complex shape by putting a couple of primitive shapes together. And that's how you can make more complex sort of things. Okay, so they want me to put that there. So let's just drag that across. And we've placed the cylinder with everything all aligned. So if we click that, now there's a couple ways of doing this. You can go through and hold down shift and click on each individual thing. So there's those all selected, or we can do the little viewing box like that, or because this is the only object we can press Control A and that will select everything on there. Now to group it, there's a couple of different ways of doing that as well. So we can go up here and click on the group option, or because we're getting speedy and we're getting used to it, we can press the Control G and then that will group that object. So there's the little love hearts sort of put together. Now if we want to duplicate it, there's a couple of different ways again to do that. So now we've got our object, it's all connected. So as we move that around, everything sort of stays aligned. If you want to duplicate it, there's this one here which you can do duplicate by pressing that. And then it's made an object inside. Alternatively, because we're a little bit smarter, if we hold down Alt and click, you might remember this from one of the previous tutorials, it automatically copies whatever you've done. So you can either do those options, or you can click on the object and press Control D and it will make a duplicated object of what you're trying to do. So what they want us to do there is have the original object. Well, how many duplicates? Too many duplicates. We'll put that object back in the center there. And they want us to scale, so there's an object that's taller but slender in the middle. Okay, so let's do the Control D. Got that object selected, and let's make that a little bit taller. Okay, and for those that remember when we were trying to scale, if we just click and scale in that way, it won't keep it all censored. So there was a special button that we needed to press, right? So if we click on there and hold down the Alt key, see how everything's all being kept all centered? And then if I drop that down a little, there's our little love heart, perfectly aligned in the center. Right, so that's been done. Now, if we want to get rid of that so we can make it hollow, so what's going to happen here is if we click on that object that we just placed there and we make that a hole, right, and then we group that all together, let's see what happens. We've now got a love heart inside a love heart. Okay, so that's one of the simple sort of ways to create a little simple negative space area. So that will delete that area and then basically keep it. So this is called a nested group. So we have the original group on the outside, we put duplicated inside, and then we've grouped it inside. So it's like a nest, it's inside of the original object. So let's just delete that and move on to the next bit. So now they want us to drop a box in the middle here, and then we want a roof on the top next to it. So if we remove that there, and then obviously it's a bit higher, so we come up to the Z-axis. Whoop, wrong one. So that's a line there. That's a line there. So we now got to put that roof on top. So they want us to move that across there. And then we want to select the color via the color inspector. So we want to have that as the off yellow, and then this one is the brown. Okay, so that's now sort of been aligned to make that little house. Now with group inheritance, let's say if we select, oh hang on, that triangle's not quite aligned, so we double click. There we go. Group inheritance is if you select both the shapes and now we group it, it will change the color to one or the other of the shapes. Okay, so it's basically whatever was first selected. So if we go shift and click on those, and that's why sometimes you will use shift click, it will automatically follow whatever you've selected first. Okay, now sometimes you can get them back, which is if you want to make sure that the colors stay the way that they were. When you go to your solid, down the option here is multicolor. If you click that, it will keep the properties of each of the individual primitive shapes. Okay, so that's another thing just to consider when you're doing this. Now we're going to scale this, so we're going to scale this across using one of the skills that we've done before. And we've got that, oh, they want that to be 50. So let's go 50 and then drag that back in by using just the arrow keys. So what we're going to do now is duplicate that. So click that, press Ctrl D. We've got a duplicate version of it. And what we're going to do is rotate him around there. And then we're done with that. So that's now made that object there. We've rotated it, and then now that we've rotated, we want the duplicate part just to be 25 long. So we come here, and now we've made the little house on the side there. Now you can play around with this, add doors and windows, whatever you want. If you want to add a door, real simply, basically put a cube. You can use the hollow cubes at the top here. They've been put there as shortcuts for you. So now if I put that in there, there's a little garage, and we'll group that. Now we've got a hole in the door. Okay, so that's something that you can sort of play around with, have a bit of a play, add any more features to the doors, the house, the windows, all sorts of stuff. Happy building!